What up with y'all overtimers, man? Yo, I'm coming at y'all with something a little bit different today. I got a nice little interview with a new mentor that I had the pleasure of meeting in the past. I want to say like maybe it's been like 2 months now. Met him about 2 months ago. So after I met him, man, like it's crazy. My father always knew him for a minute. He used to hear him. He's up in Queens, so he used to hear him. He told me inside his backyard, just working out, going crazy. And automatically, when he told me that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my guy. Because son, you have to really be a little bit. It's not even maniacal, but it's like you have to really like have a hunger for that. You feel me? Just that growth, and to continuously put in that pain, you have to have the vision. You feel me? Tunnel vision for the long term benefits and the long term goals. So automatically, when my pops was explaining to him, I was like, yeah, I understand. I was meant to meet this guy. You feel me? So what's a little different from what I do though, as y'all know, I'm more of a well, I don't really have a limit on myself, but as of right now, I'm only in the calisthenics, you feel me? Calisthenics, and then just like cardio. I pick up weights occasionally, but I pick them up and I don't really know what I'm doing. I admit that right now. So respectfully, I tried, doing the weights a little bit before my calisthenics journey, and I'm not gonna lie, I was just getting bloated. I didn't really like it. I ain't have no abs for real. And shit was just a little wonky. But man, when I met this guy, his name is Gene, AKA Mr. Natural. So when I had the pleasure of meeting OG, man, he like opened my eyes, and like, aside from the working out aspect, probably one of the most positive people in my life right now. Very positive, very real, 100% authentic and genuine. And I appreciate that wholeheartedly because, yeah, like entrepreneur, about his business, man, like this is definitely somebody I look up to wholeheartedly, and it's only been like 2 months. So when they say like everything happens for a reason and like nothing is coincidental, I kid you not, like I couldn't believe that more, because he's helping me notice some limits that I'm placing on myself, and he's also helping me open my eyes to different, like aside from the gym, obviously, because I've never worked out, like the workouts that he gives me, the workouts, how we train, I've done a little bit trying to like work on my breathing aspect, but as far as like controlling everything and trying to feel every single muscle fiber like get engaged and contract and, you feel me, stretch, I've never really trained like that. And the most valuable lesson that I take away from OG was, when you training, we go for fives. You feel me? So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, you always go for fives. You want it to be your best rep. Every single rep, you want to control it to the point where it's like, okay, like this guy's a master at this movement. And if you can't do that, try your best to replicate a 5. What's better than what's right next to a 5? A 4. So if you can't get to the 5, maybe occasionally a couple 4s is okay, but never a 3. We're not mediocre. We don't accept mediocre. Don't get inside that habit, because habits are hard to break. But with that being said, man, I just want y'all to get some of this energy from this interview, because this is only a glimpse that y'all get to see, but I really hope y'all get to take something away, because energy is real, synergy is real, like just getting that positive push, that motivational push, that's real. So y'all stay tuned, man, and I hope y'all enjoy this. Peace, overtimers. Y'all already know what it is. Peace and love.
So as I'm walking by, I tell him, I said, how are you today, my brother? And he says, I'm good. And then just as I keep walking, he turns around, he says, would you like a bottle of cold water? And I'm like, and I turn around, I said, sure. I said, that's very hospitable of you. I said, most people wouldn't do that. Next thing you know, we start talking. He tells me he's a Vietnam veteran. Wow. He's just turned 81. Wow. And he looks at me And he said, you look like you're about 41 years old. And I said, nope, 61. And he's like, oh my goodness. He said, you look amazing.
Nah, that's that's what's up.
And then we start kicking it, and then I start telling him more about myself, and he's telling me about himself, you know, his family. And before you know it, man, he's invited me in his house. You know, he's showing me some work he did in his crib. And then he says to me, he said, can I give you a ride home? I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. He said, I'll give you a ride home. I said, I'm only 5 minutes away. He said, no problem. Just let me get my keys. He comes. I show him the gym.
Wow.
He's got his youngest son is 28. He's telling me how his son joined 24 and he wants to get into bodybuilding. He wants to learn how to train.
That's what's
So
up.
while I was talking to the father, the son drove by and he said, this guy looks like a bodybuilder. And he's got his friends in the car, and they're like, yo, this guy's 61 years old, you believe it? So I gave the father my number. When he dropped me off, I took him in the gym. Nice. I had a client on the bike, you know, one of my white clients, of course. Wow. And he's like, he's looking at the setup, and he's like, yo, G, he said, you got a nice backyard. He said, man, look at your gym, man, this is incredible. He said, my son's gonna love coming here to train with you.
Nah, that's
and I said to myself, I said, look at how this happened. All I did was say hello to him. He offers me a bottle of water, and boom, and a connection was made. And he's in the gym, and he said, Gene, you see how God works? You see how God works? Look at this. This is incredible. He said, I said, brother, I said, you made my day. He said, no, you made my day too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
just
he's
like
81
that.
and he could just pick up his keys and drive like that too?
Yeah.
We can't skip over that.
I know, right? I know. Yeah, for 81, he's holding it down. He was telling me, he said, Gee, when I was in my 60s, I had a flat stomach. He said, I was still in good shape. He said, but I'm diabetic. And he said, one of my eyes is bad and blah, blah, blah. He said, I worked at my job for 39 years before I retired. His wife is like 15 years younger than him.
Wow.
She's 56. Homeboy's 81. I said, excuse me.
Wow.
Yeah, man. We had a nice little talk, man. And I said to myself, this is one of those unusual things that happens that just kind of makes your day. Because, you know, it's not something where you could just speak to somebody. And he said to me, he said, Gene, he said, as soon as you spoke to me, he said, I knew you were different. He said, because I sit here all the time and people will walk by, don't say 2 words to me. He said, but the way you spoke to me, he said, this guy's different. And then, boom. Yeah, man.
No, that's
it was good.
And that all happened today?
Today.
No.
Yeah, I'm walking home to come train my client because I left the gym open so he can, because he was going to be early. And I told him, I said, I'll get here at 2:30. So by the time I was leaving the garage, it was close to 2 o'clock. It was like maybe 1:45 or something like that. And I said, okay. I said, I'm going to come train him and I'm going to go pick up my car.
Yes, sir.
And then all of a sudden, you know, I walked past this guy's house and I said, how are you, my brother? I said, and he said, I'm good. And he said, would you like a cold bottle of water? And it all jumped off from that. Yeah, so I said, once somebody takes you in their house, you know there's some trust there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because he went in the house, I was going to wait for him outside. He said, come in the house. I said, okay. I said, and he's like, Gene, he said, I've been doing some work in the house. I did this and I did that all by myself and I did this. And I said, oh man, nice.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
You've been waiting for somebody to come around.
Yeah, just connected instantly.
Ah, that's love.
Instantly.
Well, if you guys don't know by now with the shirt, would you like to introduce yourself, my man?
All right. My name is Gene Laguerre, better known as Mr. Natural. That's what the N stands for.
Yes, sir.
Natural is synonymous with me being a lifetime drug-free competitive bodybuilder. You know, and a 23-time champion and a 2-time national champion. And 6 years as a professional with the WNBF. And the author of The Art of the Rep and The Art of Discipline, which is currently out now.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So if you don't mind me asking, what started you? If you don't want to mind taking us from the beginning, who is Mr. Natural? Why did he pick up weights? Why did he start bodybuilding?
Mr. Natural was always fascinated with health and athletics. High school, football team, handball team, wrestling team, performing arts. I was just always into things that dealt with athleticism. Even in junior high school, I won 2 handball tournaments when I was in junior high school. So handball was like my first love. But as a kid growing up, I was heavily into comic books. As you see this, every time people see this, they think of Superman. So Superman was very influential for me because I used to watch it as a kid. And I loved the fact that Superman stood for somebody who was strong, who protected the weak and fought evil. And you know, the comic books had the perfect physique. So when I joined the football team and they threw me in the weight room, at 16 years old, I squatted 400 pounds for 20 reps. I benched 225 for 5-6 reps, and I weighed 185 pounds at 6'1", and I'd only been lifting weights for like 3 months. And I had no idea my body was that strong. And right away, I fell in love with the feeling of lifting weights and being strong and seeing my body change.
No, that's amazing.
So a friend gave me a bodybuilding magazine. I saw guys that had physiques like the comic books in real life, and they shared with you what they did to build their physiques. And then as I scrolled the pages, I saw they had a competition for bodybuilders for teenagers. And I saw a Teenage New York City competition. So right away when I saw that, I said, you know what? I said, I think I could do that. I said, if my body's improving this much and I don't even know what I'm doing, I said, if I train for a year, I'll be 17. I said, the oldest teenager's only gonna be 2 years older than me. So in my mind, my own rational thinking said, how much better than me could he be? I said, I'm gonna give it a shot. And train 6 days a week, 4.5 hours a day. People said, how you gonna do? Meanwhile, I worked out in my garage, no coach, no trainer. And they said, how you gonna do? I said, first and second. They said, what? Are you crazy? I said, I'm working hard. I'm not working for less. Second place. Lost to a 19-year-old. Excuse me. That success gave birth to a career that went on for 25 years. You know, within 6 months later, I won my first show, won another competition later that year. Within the third year, when I was 19, I won 8 competitions in a row. 2 of them were men's competitions, just like at 18. I took third in the Mr. Hercules and third in the Mr. Brooklyn, and I was only 18 years old, now competing against men. By the time I was 20, I won 3 shows that year. I was already in 5 magazines, and in 9 years, I won 18 shows, and I just never looked back. I just knew that if I kept going, that I would be successful, and I would achieve my goal and prove that a champion physique could be built without drugs, and that gave birth to Mr. Natural.
No, that's an amazing answer. Thank you for that. All right.
Pleasure.
So we have another question right here. All right. We're just going to go right into the mental health. What's your take on mental health?
Mental health is a battle that all of us face on a day-to-day basis, because most of us are dealing with all kinds of adversities and pressures, and, you know, keeping our mind in a place of positive energy and minimal stress is a battle. And that's where I say the unification of the mind and the body are imperative. The problem is today, when we're dealing with mental issues and mental health, you know, we have bad habits, whether it's eating unhealthy foods, which people relate to as comfort food, or the dependency on drugs. Because every time we feel bad, we tell ourselves, I need to do some drugs and get high, make myself feel better, or smoking cigarettes, and before you know it, a person is going through a pack of cigarettes, and third, alcohol consumption. You know, we get depressed and we tell ourselves, I need a drink. Before you know it, a drink becomes an entire 6-pack, or it becomes an entire bottle of alcohol, whether it's, you know, Bacardi or whiskey or whatever it is, vodka, and we become dependent to these things that are detrimental to our health and our well-being. But if you bring exercise into the mental health equation, where we go to the gym, we work out, whether we do weights or we do cardio, or we go for a bike ride, we do something that is health related. And before you know it, the mind and the body work as one and the same. Once we make our body feel good, our mind will feel good. And to me, that's one of the best ways that we could deal with mental adversity and the challenges and the stresses of mental health. Put your body first rather than do something that is destructive to the well-being and the health of your body. Do something that builds you up and at the same time will clear your mind and give you mental clarity. And now the problem shrinks because now you see there's a way out.
Perfect. That leads us right into the next question. Now, I know there's some viewers who's probably like, this guy's really like one of the guys from the comic books. He doesn't have any problems in his life. Everything's so perfect. Peaches and cupcakes. No. So when it comes to your own mental health and like, do you find yourself going through battles frequently, and what do you do personally to overcome your battles?
Well, just to share how much of those battles I've been through, in 1984, when I was 21 years old, I had an ex-girlfriend that I was very close to that got murdered. She got shot twice by her sister's boyfriend. And in 1988, just before my 25th birthday, my older brother got shot, and he died. You know, he was 29 years old. He would have been 30 in August. He died in January. He was 5 years older than me. And then the most challenging situation of recent was going through a marriage that was coming apart. And for 3.5 years, we were like roommates and slept in different beds and no intimacy. And that was a major test for me because it was brutal to know that someone that you were with for well over 30 years and had 3 kids with, and all of a sudden that person is telling you they no longer love you and they don't want to be with you anymore. And you just kind of going through this self-blame, trying to figure out, where did you go wrong? How did you get to this place? Why did it happen? And it was brutal, you know, and thank God that, you know, prayer, you know, mental health, I would say no matter how much exercise is good, you need God and you need prayer also. So between the combination of prayer and training, it got me through it. And then when she finally moved out, it just kind of took away that bad energy, and now I became much more focused and my joy came back. My business began to flourish. My training elevated. I lost like 30 pounds. I'm about as lean as I've been in probably 20 years. My body's in the greatest of health. I forgot also 3 years ago, I had bilateral hip surgery, which I came home with a walker and I had to learn how to walk all over again. And that was another major challenge for me to overcome. And I told myself, no matter what it takes, I'm going to rebuild my body and get strong again. Now, you know, the problem was gone within 6 months. I got all of my strength back within 5 weeks. I was walking and driving again, and my pain is gone. And that was another adversity that I had to overcome, because life is just going to throw things at you periodically. It's how you endure the battle and how you protect yourself through the battle, not becoming self-destructive. And the destructiveness is by doing things that are harmful to you. The drugs, the smoking, the alcohol, you know what I mean? All of these abusive things take you down. So you got to always look to do something that brings you joy, the training, you know, whether it's in the gym or riding a bike, you know, going to church, whatever it is that makes you happy, you can need to cling to that. But I feel that, you know, the physical activity is imperative, and the prayer is imperative, you know, because you're doing something that makes you feel good and keeps your body strong, and it just sharpens your mind and helps you to see a way out.
So that was your personal take on what you do for yours, what you went through. So how do you say that others, because, you know, sometimes you might be, your way of doing things isn't the way that everybody can, you know, do things. You might be too intense for other people, and it might not be enough for other people. So can you give like an average, what would you say to the average person like that is going through things that they're succumbing to their intrusive thoughts and their negative thoughts?
Well, there was a time when people got so depressed that they were suicidal. I couldn't really relate to it because I used to always say to myself, our most precious gift is our life. And in having life, it's your mind and your body. And for somebody to get so depressed that they literally want to take themselves out, and meanwhile you got people dealing with fatal illnesses that are trying to get better because they want to live, and then you could take a healthy person going through depression or mental health that'll literally be ready to take themselves out because they don't know how to cope with it. So my take on that, because as I went through my adversity and I went through my struggle with depression, that no matter what you're going through and how hard it is, understand that God put you here for a reason and for a purpose. And what you need to understand is that no matter what struggles and trials that you had to face and overcome, you need to understand that there is a gift that you've been given, especially from God, and you need to understand what that gift is. And to me, how do you identify a gift? A gift is when you know that there's something that you share with others that uplifts them and raises their level in their life because of your presence and what you shared with them. So no matter what you're dealing with, understand that God didn't put you here to fail. He put you here to understand that you have a gift. Find out what that gift is and experience your joy and your ability to help others with that gift. And the gift could be anything. It could be your humor. Maybe you make people laugh when they're sad. It could be that you can give advice to friends when they don't see a way out. Or it could be something similar to myself, where you have a gift where you're very passionate about fitness and you help teach people how to understand their health and their body and their well-being, and in doing that it becomes transformational. I even have clients that have suffered strokes that I've been working with for as long as 4 years, because this is something that's severe that people think that their life is over and their bodies will never get strong again. So being able to share my gift and to help them to get stronger mentally and physically, it brings a lot of joy to me, because they suffered something that is life-changing. So whatever that gift is, discover what it is and understand that you can impact someone's life by sharing that gift with someone.
That's amazing. Well, that pretty much sums it up for my questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to say to the people for today's video?
Well, Jaden is an incredible young man, and this opportunity and this interview he's given me is truly meaningful for me. And I know that he's going to be crushing a lot of big goals in his future, and whatever insight that I can share to help his life and his journey, I'm here for him. And at the same time, everyone out there know that I'm here to share my gift. And if you need any kind of guidance when it comes to your fitness journey, you can find me very easily on different social platforms, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Just look for Mr. Natural and you'll find me. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity.
No problem. Thank you, Big Dog.